Swindon, Inverness in Scotland, Cardiff, Wales, my home, another Cardiff, Forest of Dean, lovely, and Sydney, Australia. That is fantastic. So for anyone who's just joined, welcome to sunny Kefalonia. So we'll make a start. I'm going to try and keep my eye on the doorbell, the waiting room, because some people might be like, where's the link? So well done to you all for finding that link. I really, really appreciate you accommodating that last minute change. Long story short, Zoom really dropped me in it, but never mind. So welcome. So I'm going to share my screen with you. We are here today to talk about festivities, autumn festivities. I've prepared you some slides. Let's see if you can see my slides. Can you give us a little wave if you can see those? Yeah, great. And can you still see me? Ooh. So some can't. If you're on a small device, you might only be able to see the slides. If you're on a computer screen, you should be able to see the slides and me. And if you've got any problems with that, have a look at the top under view options and have a little tinker. Mandy's coming in. All right, I need to move that. So I'm looking up there, in case it looks a bit odd, I'm looking up there because I've got a TV screen up there, which is where I've got my second window. But we will manage. Right, great. So we're here to talk about the festive season and health. So, you know, at this time of year, there is so much going on, isn't there? You know, first of all, we got Halloween, and if you've got kids or grandkids, you know what that means. Sweets galore, cakes, pizzas, parties, all sorts. And then you've got bonfire night for anybody in the UK. And then, you know, often means, you know, things like hot dogs and toffee apples and who knows what, you know, maybe you're celebrating with a party. And then before, you know, there's going to be loads of birthdays going on. There always are. And then, of course, before you know it, the Christmas parties start, don't they? You think, oh, I've got November and the first couple of weeks of December to get back on track, but you haven't, have you? You never do. So it's always like, it always feels a bit last minute trying to, you know, get sorted with your health, and maybe for anybody who's trying to release weight. For me, it always caught me out. It always caught me out every single year. So at the start of the year, I would say, right, I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to say lose some weight. Anybody who's in WildFit will know that we often say release weight. Just let Rosemary in. Because when we want to release weight for good, we want it gone for good. So we say release weight. But I will say we're going to lose weight. I was always trying to lose weight. Every January, right, this is the year I'm going to lose weight. And then, you know, Easter, and then a holiday, and then the summer, and then, you know, various Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and meals out and parties. And every time I'd have a setback, and it would just set my weight loss goals back. Not to mention health, because we're not all here to talk about weight. Primarily we're here to talk about health and things like inflammation, joint stiffness, digestive issues. It's all related. So by the time, you know, what was always significant for me was at this time of year, come November, it would be like, oh, have I still got a few weeks to lose weight for Christmas? But really, you haven't. Exactly. You know, you're like cutting it fine now, aren't you? And then there's parties thrown in. Has anybody had that experience? Give us a little wave to resonate with that. Yeah, a few nods. So I'm just going to show you, that's just by way of an introduction about why we're here. I'm going to help you, hopefully, look at this season differently. You know, look at food and celebration differently. So I'm going to share a little bit more about my story. And then we're going to talk more about your health concerns. So what is it that's motivating you to want to do something about it, to want to sort out your health, and to want to do that now? We'll talk about the upcoming occasions and anything that's coming up for you, and how food and drink looks on those occasions. And we're going to share some ideas for healthy swaps, and I'll talk more about a few other steps that you can take right away. Let me just ask Biddy. Biddy, at the end, I got a few testimonials and one of them is yours. Is that all right with you? It's all right with you because you're here. Yeah, great. Thank you. I know it's public, but I just thought I'd mention it. I didn't want to take you by surprise. We're going to go on for about, it'll probably be just over an hour now because of the slow start. But I'm here to answer any questions you want. So if you want me to stay and answer questions, then I'm happy to run over. But if you stay till the end, which will be in just over an hour, I'm going to share with you a special offer that I've never done before. So I think you'll really, like that. If for anybody that chooses to, decides they may want to work with me. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. Any questions at this point? Any questions or any technical issues? Yeah, that's fine. Do feel free to use the chat. I got one eye on the chat. Right then. So here we go. This is me a few years ago. Happy, but fat. And I've struggled with my weight for decades, since I was a teenager. I'm 51 now. I started feeling overweight when I was like 9 years old. So it was only puppy fat. It was nothing to worry about, I'm sure. But I was teased as a kid. And I think one thing led to another. And I, as a teen, I wanted to lose weight. I started dieting, or should we say starving myself, and trying all those crazy things that we try in a desperate attempt to lose weight. So, but my whole life I've been a happy person. I've always loved socializing. I've always loved occasions. My weight never really got me down, not on the surface anyway, because I've always been quite confident. But I will say this, that I found it difficult because I always wanted to dress nicely, look great in an outfit, and I never felt like I could, for 30 years. So I'm smiling there, but that's once I've got over myself that this dress really does look, I'm bulging out of it. So, but I think one of the primary things that held me back, I wasn't a terrible eater. I've always been health conscious, but I think it's the occasions that held me back. Because I do quite well in between, lose a few pounds, but then there'd be a meal out or a holiday or something, and it would just go completely out the window, and I'd end up gaining about 7 pounds. I could gain 7 pounds on a week's holiday. I could easily gain 4 pounds just from, a meal out or some party. It just didn't make any sense, really. But I think one of the things for me, I didn't do any worse than, people that I saw around me. But I will say this, is that occasions for me focused around the food and drink. Now, who else can relate to that? Is it just me? Give us a little wave if occasions for you focus on food and or drink. Yes, and that's the vast majority of the people I can see waving. And Kim's got a thumbs up as well. So it's just natural. It's completely natural that we do that. We want to celebrate with food. Food can be yummy, yeah? Food can be pleasure. Food and certainly drink can be relaxing. So it's no wonder that we're drawn to food and drink in order to celebrate an occasion. And yeah, it's interesting, Mandy. Most of Mandy's conversations or events all come back to food. It's really interesting, isn't it? It's like another hobby for us. Food and socializing is like another hobby. So, and that was me. Whenever we made a holiday plan, I'd be like, oh, where are we going to eat? What are we going to buy? What local treats have they got? And nothing wrong with that at all. But the point I'm making is it was more about the food than it was about anything else. And I can remember distinctly going along to a party and thinking, oh, can't wait to see what food's on offer. And again, focusing more on what food was on offer than actually having fun at the party. And since then, since that's all changed, and I still really enjoy my food, but in a very different way. Since then, I've noticed that now the emphasis for me is no longer just on the food and on having a good drink. I'm enjoying myself better because I'm feeling better in my body. and I'm connecting more consciously, and I'm more present with the other human beings in the room because I'm not distracted by what's on the food table, what's on the buffet. So so we will go, I'll show you a little bit more about how things have changed for me. Oh, right. So the downside of all that eating was I felt bloated, not just the weight gain, there were more immediate effects as well. Tired, lethargic. I would always feel regretful if I'd overindulged. And, the long-term issue was I could never really find anything nice to fit me. There's me doing my absolute best with a Halloween outfit, which was okay. But it's not how I wanted to look. I wanted to look like a sexy witch. I don't know if any of you have seen that on my Facebook. I wanted to look all sexy in the long boots and the fitted. It was never going to happen. I was a size 18 there. And then in my mum and dad's 40th wedding anniversary with my darling nanny Mags, I look at that photo now and I think I remember how I felt on that day. It was a hot, hot day. And I couldn't find anything to wear that would make me feel, pretty and presentable at a party. And I remember feeling really sad about it. And, it's a really powerful photo for me now. But inside, I just thought, oh, Nanny's going to think I've gained weight. And this blouse shows my arms. And so it's not about fat shaming myself there at all. It's about what I'm trying to get across is how I felt about it. Not to mention what was going on for me health-wise, which was a lot of joint stiffness and, lethargy and afternoon tiredness. And, really, really struggling to stay awake in the afternoons. And that was all to do with, as you'll find out, low blood sugar hunger. So then there was a revelation, which many of you know, and it was only 2 years ago for me. So much has happened in 2 years. I discovered a program called Wild Fit that when I was looking for a weight loss program, but what I found was a complete transformation of the way I was eating. Learning to eat, not to diet, not eating to lose weight, but eating for maximum nutrition, eating for health, and eating the way that nature provided for us. The way that we evolved to eat by eating what was around us, I mean, look at the pictures there, fruit, vegetables, meat, fish, eggs. You haven't, nuts and seeds not included in that picture, but all the beautiful natural foods that nature provides for us. That's how we evolved. And yet, if you look at how we're eating today, you've got your supermarket aisles with packets and jars and bottles and ready meals. And that's how we eat now. And it's not our fault. That's how the food industry feed us. And that's how the food marketing convince us to eat, because a lot of those will be branded health products. So, it's very, very different. And when I had that transformation, I'm now in a size 12 to 14. So I've dropped, 2 to 3 dress sizes. Actually, it is good 3 because after I had my kids, I went up to a size 20. So I am now in a 12 to 14. So I think that's about 3 dress sizes. So I'm feeling great. Still got a little way to go, but I'm not worried about that. Feeling great, but more importantly, and now I can wear, nice tops that I'm happy with, that I feel happy to have my photo taken in. In fact, I had a photo shoot on Tuesday on the island. So I'm really, really delighted about that. But more importantly, my health improved, and I didn't know I wasn't well. I didn't know that I had aches and pains that weren't meant to be there. But now the energy is just through the roof, and I got consistent energy all day from morning to evening. I never have to nap, and I used to nap quite a lot on my days off. And it just feels so much better. So it's more about health. So we're going to continue. My revelation really explained all that when I realized, oh my goodness, it's all about the way we're eating. It's all about those processed foods and refined carbs. And of course, the one thing You'll see if you know the answer. There's one particular ingredient in every single thing in this photo. Can anyone tell me what it is? There's one ingredient that's in common with every single product in that photo, with almost no exception. Yeah, sugar. And we're starting to realize it, aren't we? That the food industry is putting sugar in everything. Okay, there's going to be sugar in sweet treats. Of course there is, in sweet drinks. But they're putting sugar in everything. Dolmio sauces, pate, seasoning, mayonnaise. They're putting sugar in everything. Ready meals. There's even sugar in pizza. You know, so and it's the sugar is one of the things that they play, you know, they've got us hooked, because sugar is addictive, because once you've got that sweet taste, you crave more of it. So it's really just marketing. It's a marketing ploy. So that revelation really explained to me, of course, this is why I've been tired. This is why I've never been able to stick to a diet. This is why I've had stiff and aching joints for 15, 20 years and nobody could explain to me what it was. Well, it's gone now. And it also explained to me why it's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's the way we're fed. It's the way we're lied to. It's the way that we are plied with advertising constantly. And also, you know, for convenience, and they think, and they sell it to us because, oh, this will be so convenient, have this. And they lie because they say it's healthy, when actually, if you read the list of ingredients and see all the processed additives, absolutely not healthy at all. So me these days, hooray. So I just wanted to show you the difference, not necessarily, but the difference in how you can tell I feel. That's what's important. I feel now like I can party properly and I can be confident in an outfit. I can dress up. Okay, I'm still in a size 14 there, you know, big deal. Feel great. And so that is there for every single one of you. And more importantly, when I do parties now, I'm not going straight to the food table. I still do go to the food table. I still enjoy party food, but it's not all about the food. It's more about enjoying myself and spending time with other people. And it's less about the food. That's what's coming up next. So let's turn to you then. And I wanted to ask you at the beginning, has everybody got their workbook printed out? Give us a little wave if you have. Lovely. And if you haven't got it and you want the link because you want to join with us, can you give me a little wave if you need the link to the workbook? You've all got it. Excellent. And if you haven't printed it, it's not essential, but it's just some people do like to make notes as they go along. Yeah, got it. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Claire. So, so what are your main health concerns? What is it for you that, you know, may be related to the way they're feeding us? Are you mostly concerned about your weight, or is it actually health, longevity, and wanting to live a healthy, longer life? Is it that you're low on energy? And so many of these things go hand in hand, don't they? Or is it something like a chronic illness or some kind of chronic condition? Maybe it could be digestive issues, like, you know, IBS or Crohn's or diverticulitis. Those are very common. It could be arthritic pain. What is it for you? So feel free to write in your workbook what your main health concerns are. And yeah, all of those, Jane, and feel free to share in the chat if anything's coming up for you. And everybody's different. Yeah, you know, it could be any number of things. It could be things that I haven't mentioned. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. So just, first of all, I want you to put yourself in the frame of mind where you know that change is possible. Because I know that change is possible because I've now coached 92 people through the WildFit 90-day challenge. And some of them are here today. And I know it's possible because I've got a near 100% success rate. But what's difficult for people who haven't worked with me is it can be difficult to get your head around, is change possible? Can I ever change my relationship with food? Can I ever overcome these aches and pains? Can I ever improve my health? Can I do it myself? Is it possible? I know it's possible. Some of my clients in this room know it's possible, but you might not be convinced yet. Yeah, weight, tiredness, stress, perimenopause, that's another one. And when we're eating for health, I can absolutely say with certainty that healthful eating can carry us in a much easier way through perimenopause and menopause. Rheumatoid arthritis is another very common one. And Biddy, I'm hoping Biddy will tell you a story at the end. So know for a moment, believe that it is possible, know that it is possible. How would it feel if you could become the healthiest version of you? How would it feel? What difference would it make to your life? What would change? What would you do? What would you do differently? What would you do more of? What would you do less of? And what about those around you, your loved ones, family, friends, parents, kids, grandkids? How would it impact on them? You being at your best health with more energy, fewer aches and pains, feeling more vibrant, more confident, more body confident. How would it impact on those you love? What would change for them? What would they love to see? What would they love to do with you? And is there anything else that would improve? Is there anything else in your life that would improve as a result of you getting healthier? Could it be your career? You know, I've got a client, Donna, who was really hoping to make it tonight, but she couldn't make it at the last minute. Donna is a life coach. And when I met her just under a year ago, she was desperate. She had every chronic condition known. She was type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia. I don't know if it was diverticulitis or IBS, one of those. You name it, she had it. And she some days couldn't get out of bed. And she was carrying several stones more than she would like. And she didn't want a photo taken. And she felt that was really holding her back in her business, because as a life coach, you know, you've seen what I do on Facebook. You've got to be out there. You've got to get your picture out there. You've got to get people, you know, people need to get to know you. She didn't want a photo taken. And Donna did my program starting in January, graduated in April, and she's completely changed her life. She's released 3.5 stones. And she is just now, she is out there getting a photo taken. She's just loving life. So there are other, you know, business, it could be anything that could improve, but just have a little think, because the reason I'm doing this, you may have guessed, is because we want to find the reason for doing this. Because when you ever think about doing a health kick, whether that's something you've done before, whether it's a diet or a fitness program, whatever it is, but you've decided you want to improve your health, the thing that holds us back, focusing on what we've got to give up and not focusing on what we're going to gain. So I'm getting you focusing on what you're going to gain when you make some small changes. So thanks for doing that exercise. My mouse seems to be going crazy. Oh, I know what it is. Right, I get it. It's me not being able to operate the buttons properly. Right. So what is it you think holds you back? So for me, it was the special occasions. It was also sugar, you know, feeling addicted to sugar, wanted something sweet all the time, wanting something sweet after my meal, wanting something sweet, or not necessarily something sweet, but wanting something snacky late at night. Very often it was cheese and biscuits. Wine would hold me back, because I loved relaxing with wine. In fact, with my ex-husband, the only way we could connect was with a bottle of wine, because other than that, we didn't really talk. So it was important to me for many reasons, you know, and I couldn't stick to anything. I couldn't stick to a diet. What is it that you think holds you back? Make a few notes so that we can really pinpoint the thing. And does anybody want to share what's held you back before? Who's trying to speak to me? What's held you back in the past? So, it could be willpower is very often the thing. Yeah, habitual behavior, struggling to break the cycle. Yeah, willpower, you're on your, my own willpower, not wanting to miss out on events. Yeah. So you're trying to have a health kick, dare I say diet, the D word. But you think, oh, I'm on this side, but there's a party. I don't want to miss the party. I can't not eat. I can't not go for that meal. So you've blown it. Start tomorrow because you don't want to miss out today. I'll have this today. I'll have this celebration. I'll have this food that I want today, and I'll pick out on sugar today because I'll start again tomorrow. Lack of structure, lack of ideas. Absolutely. So many things hold us back, don't they? Having a sweet tooth. Absolutely. And we evolved to have a sweet tooth. Those of us who evolved with the sweetest tooth, the cravings for sugar, would have gone out and got as much sweet stuff as we could. We would have climbed higher in the trees to get all the fruit so that we stored energy in our bodies so that we could survive a harsh winter. Yeah. So we are the survivors. Those of us that store fat, those of us that have sweet cravings, we're the survivors. Survival of the fittest. The problem is, of course, that having a sugar craving when we're surrounded by sugar doesn't really support us. Lifelong bad eating habits. So I'm always unsure if I'm even making healthy choices, self-doubt. Yeah, there's so many things that sabotage us. So I've got this slide up next because this is the slide that I wanted to, that I was talking about, that helps you understand how our bodies would actually design to eat. If you imagine now, we go back to hundreds of thousands of years ago, maybe 1 million years ago, when the humans just, in their various forms, how would they have eaten? How would our bodies have actually been designed through evolution to eat, to be fed? Well, this is a kind of picture of the way I see it. Berries in the summer, and then fruits in the summer, fruits in the autumn, vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, nuts, and seeds. Yeah, these are all the things that would have been available to us in nature. This is how our bodies were designed to eat. And interestingly, they were designed to eat differently in the springtime to the autumn time, because in the autumn time, we would have had all the sweet fruits and the root vegetables because they've taken a whole year to ripen. But in the springtime, we wouldn't have had any sweetness at all. There would have been no fruits. Well, there are no fruits in spring. Only when early summer comes do we start seeing berries and no root vegetables. So it's very, very different if you look at the way we evolved to eat in the autumn or the fall and the spring. So spring is actually a very naturally low carb season, low sugar season. And autumn is actually a very high carb, a relatively high carb season. But what kind of carbs? Are we talking, bread, pasta, white rice? Are we talking cakes, donuts, pastries? Of course not. It's what we're doing in the way we're living at the moment is a kind of very dirty version of autumn with all the sugars, but also the processed stuff and super refined sugars, which, we didn't evolve to eat anything. Oh, I'll tell you what's missing from that picture, isn't it? Honey and maple syrup. Those are natural sugars, but they are nowhere near as sweet as the refined sugars that we've got today. So that hopefully gives you an explanation of why it's really hard with the food that's around us. And dieting, who has already discovered that dieting is not the answer? Yeah, most of you in the room have discovered that dieting is not the answer. Yeah. Because, the statistics show that every time, on average, we go on a diet, we gain 3 pounds. Why is that? Because of deprivation and restriction. Because when we are told you can't have something, all we can think about is that thing that we can't have, right? The other reason is because it requires you to stick to a way of eating that you wouldn't normally be doing just by telling you, eat this way. You have to follow the instructions and just do it, even though you've got cravings, even though you're feeling tired and low on energy, your blood sugar's low, and and you want a treat and you want a reward, and there's emotional eating and comfort eating. It ignores all that. It ignores all that and requires willpower to get you through it. Who's got great willpower here? Who's got willpower of steel? Almost nobody. I have no willpower at all. I could never have done this. Thanks, Claire. I could never have done this if it required willpower. The good news is that the approach that we take with WildFit is want power, not willpower. You'll want to do it, because I will talk a bit more about that at the end, but it ignores that psychology. Dieting ignores the psychology. Okay, there are some better programs that do look at that, but very often guilt gets in the way because we're made to feel guilty about the way we're eating. And guilt can completely suppress any analysis, what I like to call objective review. An objective review of what you ate, what it did, would you do it again? When you're feeling guilty, you just go, oh, what am I like? I can't stick to a diet. Look what I've had. What's the matter with me? And there's this internal chatter, guilt. So what we got to do is drop the guilt and see things clearly. And it's not your fault if you've ever failed at a diet. People don't fail at diets. Diets fail people. Diets fail us because they ain't designed to work. They're designed to get you coming back and paying more membership and buying more books and buying more diet products. That's the way it's designed. It's an industry. So there's a question in your workbook, number 4, which you may want to reflect on. What is it for you? Why have diets never worked for you before? Or maybe they have, but only to a point. Maybe make some notes on that. What is it about diets that don't work? So, workbook question 5, which foods mean celebration to you and why? So we are looking at the season of, if you're in the States, you call this the holiday season. We tend to just call it autumn. But we've got, we've still got festivals and things, coming up. And also with the weather getting colder and wetter, we kind of want to draw in, don't we? And eat for comfort and eat for satisfaction. And naturally, we want to fill ourselves up and fatten ourselves up. So which foods mean celebration to you? So we've got pizza, typical pizza night, social occasion, yeah? Celebration, let's get a pizza. The easiest thing to order in, the easiest thing to share. What is it about the beige buffet, bottom middle? If typical, party. Wonder what the buffet is going to be like. Now, most of the time in parties I've been to in my time, that's what parties look like. This one. It's beige, isn't it? Why is that? Why do buffet and parties often, when you look at the table, it's all beige? It's because caterers very often can't think outside the box of sandwiches, pastries, pies, because they're thinking, what's easy to pick up? Yeah, they're not thinking vegetables, protein, fruit. They're not thinking nuts. They're not thinking that way. They're just thinking, oh, what's easy to do? What will people like? What's tasty? And our taste buds have been tuned over the years to think that this is tasty food. And actually, when you eat for health, you won't find that particularly tasty. You'll find more healthful foods even tastier. What is it about chocolate? What is it about chocolate that means celebration? What is it about birthdays that mean cake? And what is it about Saturday nights that mean takeaway? So the reasons, what are the, put in the chat, what are the reasons why we associate some of these things with the occasions? Why aren't occasions based on fruit, veg, meat, fish, nuts, eggs, and seeds? Why is that? Interesting one, isn't it? Sometimes it's tradition, you know, birthday cakes. I don't know how far back that goes. Christmas pudding. What else? What other traditions are there? Easter eggs, chocolate at Easter, chocolate on Valentine's Day, chocolate on Mother's Day, chocolate on Christmas, chocolate on birthdays, chocolate on holidays. So sometimes it's habit. Sometimes it's just, oh, we love chocolate so much that we're going to have it on every special occasion. And sometimes, like with all going out for a curry, or all going out for an office bash where we get pizza or whatever it is. Sometimes it's like, let's go out and overindulge. Yeah, let's have a whale of a time. Let's overindulge. Let's drink loads. I've done it. Let's eat as much as we can. Let's go to that Chinese buffet on Salisbury Road that does an all-you-can-eat for what used to be £17.50. Oh my Lord, I used to go there regularly and we would eat until our bellies nearly burst. What is it? Why is that a celebration? You know, it's interesting, isn't it? And sometimes it's just habit. I always celebrate with wine. I always celebrate with chocolate. But it's just interesting to think, is it necessarily that way? Is it necessarily that way? So I need to speed up a little bit. What delicious foods have you enjoyed lately? What have you really enjoyed? Have you been out for a lovely meal and it tasted beautiful? It was freshly prepared. You've really enjoyed the flavors. You didn't overindulge. You felt fine the next day. And it was one of those perfect meals that you love. And what have you had lately that's more junky, or you've actually maybe couldn't stop and you've gone and overindulged and you've ended up feeling, oh, actually, I wish I hadn't had that. Just reflect on a time that comes up for you, an occasion that you've had recently, and how you approached it. What I'd like to ask is there anything you'd change if you do that again? I don't want anybody to feel guilty ever about any food choice they make, but do you ever feel guilty about what you've eaten? And why is that? Is that guilt kind of pointing at something with more wisdom behind the guilt? Any regrets, anything you would do differently next time because actually it wasn't worth it anyway, it wasn't that nice and I ate too much and I was really bloated afterwards and actually I had to have a nap if it was an indulgent lunch. Just have a think. How did you feel afterwards? Very often it leaves us feeling bloated, tired, regretful. Let's take a true look at it. So bear in mind, one of the things that we've associated with occasions. Donna is joining us. Let me let Donna in. So this next slide is about question 7. Why is this food part of the occasion? What is the reason? So let's say birthdays, for example. So many of us, I don't know if it's the same the world over, but so many of us in the UK, you absolutely have to have a birthday cake on a birthday. You absolutely have to have a cake on a birthday. Why is that? Why do you have to have a cake on a birthday? If you're trying to eat for health and you're conscious of not eating too much sugar or too much, processed foods, why is it? Isn't it odd that we feel that we have to have it? So whether, whatever the occasion is and whatever that association is for you, just question why that is. Is it actually, oh, well, you think you should, there's like a peer pressure. Oh, well, we've got to have a pizza on a Friday. We've got going around so-and-so's house. It's got to be pizza. Why? Why has it got to be pizza? We're free. We have our own free will, don't we? Or do we have to be controlled by associations and expectations and traditions and the way things are just done? So what I'd like to ask you to do, think about that one particular occasion with that one particular food. Does the food itself enhance the joy and connection of that occasion? So I know that if you're all eating cake, yes, you're all eating cake. And sometimes there can be a real gourmet experience around the cake where you say, oh my gosh, this cake is delicious. Who made it? Oh, Auntie Flo made it. Oh gosh, Auntie Flo's a good baker. This is delicious. So there is sometimes connection around foods, particularly when they're gourmet or lovingly homemade. But sometimes we just eat so mindlessly. I'm thinking particularly things like pizza, takeaway. Does the food itself actually enhance the joy, connection, and experience and the celebration of that occasion? Or sometimes maybe does the food even to take away from the joy and a connection of that occasion because you're so obsessed with the food, or because you're overindulging and you feel good, or sometimes, you know, drinking too much and then eating and then feeling really, really sick, whatever it is. So have a little think about that. Right. So we are here to the pragmatic side of the evening, where we're going to talk about some healthy swaps. So what kind of healthy swaps can you make for the occasion you've got in mind? I will start by making a few suggestions for you. And then I would love you all to share, because I know that every single person in this room has got a healthy swap that they could suggest. So I'm going to start by talking about the way I do parties now. When I'm catering, or it's one of those bring and share. You know, the bring and share party is the absolute best because you get a whole lovely selection of delicious things, and people really do make an effort. And interestingly, when people make an effort, they do tend to go a little bit more healthy, rather than just defaulting to, you know, sandwiches and pastries. So a couple of suggestions. If it's a party and you're catering, why not cater things like a Greek salad, or some chicken skewers with a bowl of coleslaw, or, you know, maybe a fruit salad. But all the colors in those things, so much nicer than a beige buffet. Kids parties, and I've always been quite health conscious. Kids parties would always have carrot sticks, celery sticks, sliced peppers. Not every kid would eat them, of course, but they would like to try them because they like the bright colors, you know. So you can always put out little bits of vegetables, make them look beautiful. You can always put a lovely fresh fruit salad. And then, you know, if it's a hot food buffet, well, that's actually really easy to do healthful foods. If it's a hot food buffet where you're having a bowl and a fork, you can do a delicious chili or a delicious curry or something like that. And if it's cold food, well, you know, an array of salads and cooked meats and maybe salmon, that kind of thing. And I will tell you that if this is a bring and share, and you bring along a Greek salad or some delicious, you know, chicken skewers, those will go first. It's the homemade, hand-prepared things that include vegetables and healthy proteins that go first. That's my experience, because people are bored of beige buffets and they want the lovely colors and the freshness. And when they taste the things that we've prepared, they want more of it. So what swaps do you have to suggest? So we're talking about, you know, Halloween is coming up, Halloween party. The buffet table could look amazing. One of the things that I've always done, my kids like to make what they call a healthy pizza. So instead of buying a load of pizzas, they get a wholemeal tortilla, and that wholemeal tortilla then gets covered with a tomato bake, like a tomato puree, and then they put bits of veg on it and bits of ham and maybe some pineapple, and then the whole thing gets grilled. And at Halloween, we make little spiders out of olives. I wish I'd put a photo in there of that now, actually. I'll share it later.
Yeah, your pizza. Take a picture of it.
Spider, black olive.
Put a picture in, yeah.
Oh, who do I need to mute? Cut in half for the body, and then is there somebody else I need to mute? And then little legs, when you just slice an olive into legs, so you can make these little spiders. That's a really cute thing to do for Halloween. So any other suggestions for swaps?
Maybe I should just do a message.
Who would like to share? I know there's a little bit of background noise. I'm trying to figure out who that is too.
That's great.
For some reason, I can't mute Alison. Alison, for some reason, lovely, I can't mute
camera.
I don't know why that is. Roasted veg. toasted nuts and seeds,
Oh, I can turn the video
nut
on.
holes with a nut cracker. Oh, that's a lovely.
Speak and say, hey.
It was my husband. It was Paul all this time. I shall have words with him. I recognise Ruby's voice then. Yeah, roasted veg, olive seeds, nuts in a bowl, all sorts of things. So hopefully you've got a few ideas there. And if anybody wants more ideas, then pop over to the free community that I've got. Eat well, feel great, live life to the full. Lots of you are already a member. If you're not, I'll share the link in the chat. In fact, let me just quickly do that now. For anybody that's not a member, where's my link? Eat well, feel great. Oh, I tell you what, I haven't got it handy. If anybody's got the link handy, please share. But if you're not a member, I will send out a link in the email, in the follow-up email. So it's nice in there because everybody shares ideas. I take pictures of my lunches and I share when I'm out for a meal or, you know, so there's a lot going on in there, which is it's a lovely space actually. So do join my free community if you're interested in getting more ideas. Right, I need to speed up. Okay, steps you can take right away, apart from the healthy swaps. First top tip is, who's got their water with them? Take a sip now. I've been silly. I've been talking for nearly an hour and I haven't had a sip, but I did drink a good half a litre before I came on. Oh, yes. So those of you who are holding water, you already know the importance of staying hydrated. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to help you. Oh, thank you, Sam. Really appreciate that. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to drink plenty of water. It really, really helps you to moderate and choose healthy foods, because when you're not drinking enough water, the body craves, we were designed to get most of our water from food. So the body craves food, and before you know it, you've got a sweet craving and actually you're thirsty. So try it if you're not already doing it, 6 to 8 glasses. Healthy swaps we've talked about. Maybe choose one healthy swap every week for something that you do normally. We don't want you to feel deprived. We don't want you to, because as soon as you try and give something up, it'll backfire. What we want you to do is make a conscious, positive, healthy swap that works for you. That's the thing. And if you imagine if you did one healthy swap per week, in the course of a year, you'd have 52 healthy swaps. You might have completely transformed the way you're eating. But tune into the true experience when you are eating, whether you're eating for pleasure, comfort, celebration, or for health. Always tune in to what that experience is doing for you. Am I enjoying this food? How is it tasting? Why have I chosen it? And I've got a picture of a family here. Lead by example. Lead by example. When you make healthy swaps, those around you see what you're doing and they pick up on it, especially kids and partners. We see it all the time. So if you really want to not only be healthier for yourself, but you want those around you to improve the way they're eating, lead by example. It's something that you can do every single day. So, actually, I'm all right for time, actually. So I hope that part of the session has been helpful. If there's anything else you'd like to ask, put it in the chat or just raise your hand. But I'm just going to we've got 5 minutes left of the planned time. I'm just going to take a few minutes to tell you about how you can work with me if you're feeling like you don't want to make one swap a week for the next 52 weeks. You want to sort this out now. If you're looking for making a significant and lasting change to your health, and go through the program that I went through 2 years ago, and that Fiona went through, and Biddy went through, and Donna went through, and Karen went through. Who else? And there's a couple of you who are on my current class. If you want to completely transform the way you're eating and feel healthier and release weight within 3 months, right? 90 days, the challenge is. It's a 90-day challenge. That's just 13 weeks. And over the course of that 13 weeks, if weight is your thing, it's actually my average weight loss among all my past clients, the average weight loss is 23 pounds on that program. But weight isn't the most important thing. we're overcoming arthritis, digestive disorders, stiff aches and pains, and you will see. So the Wild Fit 90-day challenge is the method I coach, but the coaching with me sits on top of that kind of training program, if you like. And it's the coaching with me that helps you make this doable. I will help you find ways with food that are completely almost effortless in the kitchen. I don't spend hours in the kitchen. I'm one of these, it's got to be quick, easy, and tasty. It's got to be convenient. So it's about finding ways with food, easy food prep. How can we eat for health and not have to follow laborious recipes? Let's just make this quick and easy. You will ditch dieting forever, because you will realize that, I know you've realized that dieting doesn't work, but you will now realize what does work. So you won't ever need to diet again. Now, Paul's got his hand up. I don't know if that's intentional.
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to show you the pizzas that the kids are doing right now.
Oh, nice one. Let me just spotlight you a minute.
You can spotlight that. That's one of the pizzas they've made.
So what's in that then? Is that a whole meal?
So that's a whole meal wrap with a bit of cheese on it, and a little bit of chicken, and a little bit of tomato. Sorry, that's a brighter picture. And some jalapenos and ham.
Lovely.
So that's a very, very slimming wrap. Oh, and Sean's just he's eating something.
That's the kids' version.
So just wanted to show you, as you can see, I'll get down here. You can see it's incredibly thin.
Really thin, because it's a whole meal tortilla.
All the stuff in pizzas is mainly the bread. That's where all the calories are. I mean, he's put a lot of cheese on there, maybe more than he needs.
There's a little bit more cheese than I would have liked for this demo, actually, kids.
But anyway, just wanted to show you that anyway.
Thank you ever so much, darling. And thank you, kids. Really proud of you.
And you I am. Hello.
More veg on it next time, right? More pepper.
More veg next time, kids.
Sweet corn. But well done. Great start. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, even the kids are doing healthy swaps. I'm not all, it could be healthier, but even the kids are mindful of what can I have instead of a bog standard pizza with that thick bread with nothing but tomato and cheese on it, and probably sugar in it as well. So they're making their own, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting into interesting food prep. Right, so learn to love food again, learn to love not eating for health. So here is a picture of my April class. Siobhan, you're in there. And who else is here that's in that picture? I think it's, and Karen, you're in there. So this is what it's like in my classes. We have about 20 people on a 13-week challenge. And so there's a lovely support, lovely atmosphere of support in there. And this is the final celebration call where everybody was asked to show their top win on a piece of paper for the camera. Anne-Marie over 2 stones lighter. Hazel dropped a dress size. Christine got more energy. Where have we got? I can't read yours, Siobhan. Karen learned how to nourish herself. Grace released 36 pounds. It's just incredible. And Chris, although she struggled here and there at the beginning, she's now saying effortless weight release, twice the target that she had in the beginning of the program. So that's my lovely April class, and I've currently got a September class on the run, and I will tell you, and I'll tell you when my next one's coming up as well. So the Wild Fit 90-day challenge is a 13-week program. Is very, very doable, because all we do is we change one thing a week. We give you a little mini challenge each week, and it's not always take a break from something. Sometimes it's add something healthy in, like water or maybe some fruit and veg. So it's one change per week. That's always very doable. You get 29 hours of coaching with me in a group, and you get that lovely group support in a Facebook group. And I've got a 99% satisfaction rate. And I will tell you what the 1% was. I had a dear lady, I love her dearly. The one thing she wanted to overcome was to reduce the inflammation markers that she was getting when she had tests. She got all kinds of, she's in her 70s, she's got all kinds of things wrong with her. And I said, I got 100% success rate of overcoming inflammation. So we did it. She did it and she stuck to it like glue, bless her. But that one indicator didn't come down. And because of that, she felt that she hadn't got what she wanted out of it. But we think that she didn't reduce her inflammation marker because she's on really heavy medication. So that's just the one that it didn't work for. But 99, I hope you will agree, the 99% satisfaction rate is pretty impressive, especially when you compare it to a typical diet. So there's Biddy, hooray. Biddy, do you want to come on the microphone quickly?
Hi.
Thanks for letting me use your testimonial in this slide.
Right. I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest.
£28 on the programme.
Yeah.
And the most remarkable thing for you was that post-viral inflammation, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I had a kind of a long COVID thing and it went on for, well, it was ended up being 10, 11 months. But this is the way that I got rid of it, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you feeling about your weight and your energy now, as well as that?
Yeah, good. Actually, really, really good. But it's always quite good to have a reminder. You know, that's why I'm on this call today.
Yeah. Reminder of the principles and just to, yeah, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Once you live in this way, you know, the world wants to pull you back out of it. The world with all its convenience and junk wants you to, you know, wants to pull you away from eating for health. So
yeah, and I think it's a bit like, you know, when you join a gym and you have all the good intentions and you do the program fantastically for the first few months, and after a while you don't really know why, but you're just bored of doing it, and so you have no motivation anymore. And it's the same with the eating. You know, you have to, I think every few months you just need to recalibrate a bit.
Recalibrate's a great way of putting it. And Kim's got a great question, actually. Do you have cheat days, Biddy?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm human.
Except that what we call them treat days, don't we?
Yeah.
We have them, we don't, it's not a cheat because we have complete food freedom. We call them treat days, where every now and again you have exactly what you want, as often as you want it, knowing that you might set yourself back a bit and have, you know, some consequences. How does that work?
I think the thing is, yes, I had one of Fiona's almond croissants the other day and really enjoyed it. And one of the things the program has really helped with is the guilt. I mean, it's not gone completely, but I think in the past, when I was in that dieting mentality, I'd kind of have an almond croissant, and then I thought, oh, I'll just have one more actually, because that actually really tasted nice. And then I'm thinking, well, I've blown it, so I might as well just eat everything in sight now, because I've blown my diet, so I'll have to start tomorrow. And that stuff I don't do anymore at all. You know, I will have one thing that tastes completely delicious and try and really enjoy it for what it is, and then just move on.
Yeah.
That is really a revelation, to be honest.
Oh, thank you, Biddy. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the way I see it as well. Nobody needs to be 100% purist. I'm no purist. I love a wine. I love a little bit of dark chocolate. When I'm traveling, I mean, at the moment in Kefalonia, I've spent the last 2 weeks in Wildfit Spring because I'm trying to release weight, and I've released probably a good 6 pounds since I've been here. But I am really looking forward to trying a Kefalonian meat pie when my family come and join me next week, because it's a local delight that I really love. So we can have whatever foods we want, but we're having them consciously. It's a treat day, not a cheat day. Yeah, it is a good idea, isn't it? Because you just, you know, some people still would like to treat themselves to certain foods that they wouldn't have all the time. And when you're free from the compulsion of needing those foods to satisfy emotional cravings, and you're free from that, you have it consciously without guilt, then you can have real pleasure from it, you know, real food pleasure from it. And you don't go crazy with it. So, you know, and it may set you back a little. I do sometimes notice that if I have baked goods, I get a little bit inflamed. My rings go tight. I use this as a gauge to see whether what I'm eating is causing me inflammation in my body. I've got 2 ways of monitoring it. One is how tight my rings are. And the other one is if I get bags under my eyes, I know that something's caused inflammation. So I'm just monitoring it all the time, which feels great to me. And it means that I can be flexible. So I need to move on. Thank you so much for that, Biddy. Really nice to hear your testimony. So the next class, the next sort of 20 to 30 people in a class starts in January, because it can be very difficult to persuade people to start a health kick that's going to run over Christmas. Now, between you and me, the best time to do a health kick like this is over Christmas, because when you're supported in a group, we can help you to navigate Christmas in the healthiest way possible. It's going to be a skill that you learn forever, not to be deprived at Christmas, but to eat in a natural, healthy way and still really enjoy Christmas. Having said that, I've found it difficult before to pull a class together that runs over Christmas. So my last class started in September and my next one starts in January. Now, the normal price of the 90-day challenge has been $9.95 this year, but in next year, I'm going to need to go VAT registered. So I'm going to need to start putting my prices up. So in January, the 90-day challenge is going to be £1,200. But what I'm doing this evening is that if anybody wants to, they absolutely know they want to have a reset after Christmas and book on the January program, then what I'm offering you until the end of the month is £200 off that price, is $9.95. I'm going to keep the price the same as I've had it this year. So you got this year's prices. I'm just going to put the link to that if anybody wants to take me up on that offer. So there's the link to the early bird offer. Now, for anybody who, that is the last slide. I'm just going to stop sharing. For anybody who thinks, well, actually, I do quite like the sound of this, but I can't possibly wait till January. Come and talk to me. Because if I can get 6 people together, I can run a group. So there are 3 different options of working with me. There's the big class, which is the $9.95. There's a small intimate group, and there's working with me one-to-one. So if you're interested in any of those options, obviously to do the small intimate group, I need to gather enough people who are ready to start on the same date. But my plan is to run a small intimate group of those people who want to work close with me. So they got really close support. My plan is to run one of those in November. So the best way of, come and talk to me about that, because we need to talk about package prices and logistics and start dates and that kind of thing. So that, my lovelies, is everything I've got for you today. Are there any questions or any revelations? Who would like to share? Is there anything? Sam, I'm only halfway through. Yeah, Sam is halfway through and already is the best money I ever spent. The best food education ever. Thank you, Sam. I was wondering if it was that, Sam. Sam, do you want to come on, or does anybody else want to come on and say anything before we all say goodbye? Thanks, Kim. Lovely to see you. Anybody else want to? Fiona, you got your hand up, sweetheart. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the best money I'd ever spent on a new food regime, because the thing that I find is so different with this is, apart from your wonderful coaching, Sue, is the way that when the webinars come on from Eric, he gets you engaged on a thinking and a brain level. So it's not just your emotional desires that want change. It's actually you're using the power of understanding why you're doing these changes and what the consequences are. That helps reinforce. I won't call it willpower, but your motivation. Yeah, it really improves the motivation. So yeah, it's been a real life changer for me. And yeah, I'm very grateful, very grateful. So thanks for tonight as well.
Thank you, Fiona. It's lovely to hear you saying that, and I'm so delighted for everything you've achieved on the programme. You've absolutely smashed it, and I'm so proud of you. And thanks for speaking. And Ellen, yeah, it's a really effective programme. You're halfway through, aren't you, as well? How are you feeling? Feeling good. Just give me a thumbs up. That's great. Feeling good. It's lovely to have you here, Ellen. So is there anybody else that would like to ask me any questions or anything about the offer or anything about the free community. Thank you, Sam, for posting the free community in the chat. If there's nothing else, I will wish you a lovely evening. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute delight, and a room full of people, even despite the last minute technical glitch. Lovely class too. Thanks so much. Your energy is infectious. Oh, Leanne, it's really nice. Everybody, Leanne is also a WildFit coach. So Leanne, it's lovely to have you here. It really is. Thank you for coming. Take care, everybody. Have a healthy November. And I hope to see you in the community very soon. Lots of love to you all. Bye-bye.